Hi guys, I've split another video into two just because I'm not making models for many hours per week at the moment, so otherwise it'd be a big video with the model and the diorama probably once every 3 weeks. So I did the diorama first because I knew I could do it quicker, and I had something really distinctive in mind on the usual little piece of floorboard, as you can see there. I had something distinctive in mind because I got the Chieftain, Tamiya Chieftain. I found it a little bit boring, the paint schemes. Britain never used it in action. Iran used it against Iraq, and it was used by Kuwait in the war against Saddam. And that was the only one really that grabbed my imagination. The tanks of Kuwait tend to just be a sandy colour, not many markings, because the Chieftain from Tamiya comes just with 1970s British decals. But there was not many markings on the Kuwait tanks, but they tended to have flags. So I'm planning to build that, do it quite sandy, and do a Kuwait flag on it as the only real identifiable thing on it. So I had a little Google around Kuwaiti traditional architecture, Kuwaiti ruins, Kuwaiti buildings. There is actually like a towel block in Kuwait city that is damaged by rockets from Saddam that they've left as like a memory, as a memento kind of thing to the war. But obviously Kuwait city is a bit kind of large scale for the dioramas that we do. It's all skyscrapers. So yeah, this I don't know what the actual building that it's from is, but this kind of archway, kind of Bronze Age, antique archway kept coming up with several arches, and it was at road level, but I decided to raise it up a little bit just so the tank doesn't dominate the landscape too much. So yeah, it was it was like rendered in the photographs that I saw. And the render had come off and there was like stone blocks underneath. But then in those kind of biblical kind of ancient architecture, you kind of get blocks of stone, a little bit irregular. So I've used some offcuts of the foam and used them really roughly. And you might think too roughly. The other thing I saw in the photographs was the streets were quite carefully designed, and the road surface was often a kind of paved or patterned surface. So I wanted to do that, and then there was, in some of the pictures, small organised little areas of garden and street side kind of borders of flower borders and things. As much as it's a dry environment, I had some new plants that I wanted to use as well. So anyway, all in all, it was something a concept I had in my mind after doing a bit of Googling, and then I didn't work from the photographs. I just kind of took that memory and tried my best. So I've got a new 5mm foam board parcel that came, and it had as part of the packaging, it had this kind of 2mm foam just holding in the box. So I've used that for the kind of flags, the tiles on the floor. It's a big tank, so I'm doing the diorama knowing that a lot of things are hidden by the tank when it's in place, and you know, maybe I did it a bit too scruffy in the end. I really need to start measuring things a bit better and a bit more analytical and mathematical about doing my dioramas. A bit hodgepodge everywhere. I get an idea of creating something, I just run with it really quickly, and I don't do much planning. It's just a wonder it turns out as well as it does. But you can see that I've just took the top millimetre maybe of the blue foam reddener off, which is really easy to do with this material. If you've got a sharp knife, you can just skim the top of it off, and then you can get your scribe and do brickwork underneath. That was the effect I was going for anyway. I did put a curb in after I'd planned to do these tiles. I did put a curb in between the flower bed and the actual road, and that was the 5mm foam. I've got offcuts everywhere, so it's just picking the right material for the moment, you know. If you're wondering, guys, the grey paint, if you didn't recognise the tub, it's just a tester pot, it's just emulsion. I'm trying to use up some old emulsion pots on my dioramas because they don't really matter. And what I did notice is, people say, model makers say on YouTube, we're using enamels in this for the pin washes and stuff because you can work back into them and you can wet them again, and you can't do that with acrylic. I noticed that the emulsions, or house paint, maybe you'd know it as, you can wet it with water and it becomes liquid again. And for the washes and the way I do dioramas, the way I kind of weather them and stuff, I think that's quite nice. And then I've put just plaster of Paris as like a grouting for the road tiles, because there wouldn't be such a gap between each tile in reality. Either they'd be placed closer together or there'd be some kind of mortar between them. Else people would just be breaking their ankles every 5 minutes. So I'm trying to use plaster for that, and then brush it on dry and wet it afterwards, just with a spray gun. And it's lightened, obviously it's lightened the road, but I was only using the grey as a base anyway. I wanted to be able to have it a dusty desert, Middle Eastern kind of situation. So I was planning on lightening the whole diorama up anyway. Just dry brushing it in. Yeah, I found that doing the the tiled floor quite pleasant actually. It's one of them things that I could just sit and do for a while, but I need to plan a little bit better and do a nice patterned tile, perhaps. I've seen a few dioramas, professional dioramas, where the ground is all kinds of different patterns and different shaped tiles and different shaped cobbles. Well, that's definitely one to try. So I use the plaster as well to make my little flower bed that's running alongside the road by the ruins. Just to give the illusion of soil, but I do have soil flock stuff that I can use as well. So the plaster's dry here, and I've gone over it with some black wash, so I lost some of the effect of grout, you know, seeing the white against the tile, but the fact it's filled a lot of the joints, a lot of the gaps, it is the purpose of it really. So I just want to put some PVA glue in, as you saw. A lot of this modelling stuff seems to be quite expensive. Specialist plants for this scale and stuff. So I was being a bit of a cheapskate and trying something different just by getting some fish tank plants, which are plastic, and the leaves are sometimes too big, sometimes just right. I've got a Vietnam diorama I want to do in the next in the next month. So I was bearing that in mind, but I think a few of the smaller leafed plants will go well in this with this one. So yeah, I've roasted some coffee grounds and some actual soil. I've filtered it through a sieve, and that's what I used to use a lot for a dirt effect, and mix it in with my paint and stuff. I still do now and again, but it's perfect for this. It's just a dry, very fine granule soil effect. And then the usual chalk pastels. Maybe too much, but I can knock it back with a little bit of water. I've not done it during this video, but when I do put the Chieftain on it, if it looks like it's too dusty or too uniform, I can add something to it again, or just like I say, add some water effects or some mud staining, some darker brown. Some of the self-adhesive tufts of grass that I've got now, I've stuck on the front of the ruins. Yeah, you know, I used to make the tank and then make the diorama to match the tank, and in this, for time management, for better time management, I've done it the other way around. So when I get the Chieftain on there, you know, I can change my mind about different things and maybe make some alterations. But yeah, biblical style, kind of antique, ancient architecture, curbing and a paved road. That's what I was imagining. That's what I was going for. Did it all in a day, really. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think.